discretion is advised.
What kind of a man did you know him as?
Well, a nice man, just like anybody else. The only difference I'd say in the man, he seems to be a little high.
Make yourself known.
This is weird.
5.
I swear I just said absolutely.
I heard that too. 4. I just took a picture and got an orb. 3, 2,
Hello?
1. We are in Plainfield, Wisconsin.
A very small town used mainly as a rest stop for truckers or cheap land for farmers. But what appears as nothing but another small town in a plethora of small Wisconsin towns has some of the darkest history in all of Wisconsin, if not the nation. A man named Ed Gein committed that history, those crimes. Gein's crimes weren't just malicious or evil, they were terrifying. Gein was a very troubled man. His father was an alcoholic, so presumably Ed grew up in an abusive household. His father died in 1940, his brother shortly after in 1944, and his mother in 45. He then lived in the farmhouse all by himself. He holed himself up in it, blocked off a lot of the rooms, and had all the time in the world to start reading. Gein enjoyed to read about Nazi experiments and human anatomy. He was especially interested in the female anatomy. He was so interested that he went to the local graveyard and began to dig up certain parts of bodies. He preferred to take home parts of females that reminded him of his mother. There is no way to describe what Ed did in enough detail to make it sound like something a person would or could actually do. It's hardly possible to cover it all. Ed made masks of the corpses' faces, belts out of human nipples, lampshades and seat covers out of human skin, silverware and cups out of bones. The list goes on and on. But those were corpses. They were already dead. But did Ed actually kill anyone? You bet. Gein figured out that fresher bodies were better for his collection, so he went from digging up fresh bodies to killing people. There were only 2 documented murders that Gein committed, but there are suspected many more, including his own brother. The 2 documented murders were Mary Hogan and Bernice Warden, both women that looked somewhat like his mother. The reason behind all of these crazy, gruesome, and inhumane acts was because Ed was uncomfortable in his body. He studied women anatomy intently because he wanted to become a woman himself. The closest he ever got was wearing a full-body suit made entirely out of female skin. Very disturbing. It's unfortunate that there wasn't the technology there is today for him to transition safely and sanely, but it is impossible to feel sympathy for this actual devil of a man. But what about the bodies he dug up? There is no way those bodies are at rest. Spirits have to be restless. And they are. The 3 places that will be investigated are True Value Hardware, where Ed killed his last victim, Bernice, Plainfield Cemetery, where Ed's family is buried and the bodies were dug up, and finally Ed Gein's farmland, where the product manufacturing took place. And it's said that you can come face to face with Ed Gein's ghost. Our strange trip was set.
Right now we are heading to the hardware store.
Head east on East North Street toward Center Street, then turn right onto Center Street. Turn right onto Center Street, then turn right onto Clark Street.
You see Center Street? I'm just gonna turn
Head
around.
east on East North Street toward East Street, then turn right onto East Street.
It tells me way too late.
Turn right onto East Street, then turn right on. Head east on East North Street toward North Wheeler Drive.
So take a
In
left.
a quarter mile, turn left onto County Highway BB.
What?
Can't they just turn
I
around?
think that's
I think
wrong.
you should just turn around. I think it got confused as to where we were.
That's kind of strange though. It sounded like it was like going crazy.
It was lagging really bad.
But it was like, go towards beach, then go to north. It was like,
Continue
what?
on East North Street for a half mile.
half mile.
See, like, that makes sense. Before it was like, what?
Yeah, you know.
So does it want me to turn on East Street or
Um,
Beach Street?
So after figuring out where to drive, no thanks to the mysterious malfunction of Anne's phone, we arrived at the True Value Hardware store, the site of Ed Gein's last murder.
Okay, after that little bit of trouble, we are here. We're going to go incognito on my phone's camera, so no hicks yell at us, because we are in Hickville. Yeah, we'll see what we can get. Let's go.
It's said that Bernice's ghost is still lurking around, holding files saying something about antifreeze, what Ed Gein said he came back to the store for. But really, he came back for her. We went inside and used the Ghost Radar app, as well as a tape recorder, to collect EVPs, or spirit voices.
Come on, Bernice, talk to us.
We received nothing, as we later found out that True Value had a recent location change, and the new hardware store that inhabited the old haunted building went out of business.
Alright, so I think it's pretty for sure that that place isn't that haunted, if at all. Now we're gonna try a quaint little cafe, not for the haunts, but for the food. Yeah. Okay, so we just ate. Now we are off to stop number 2, Plainfield Cemetery. Alright, so we're in the cemetery. Now we are trekking to find the graves of Ed Gein's parents.
I do believe they're over there.
We walked around the cemetery for an hour before we finally found what we were looking for, the graves of Ed Gein's family. According to a local anonymous source, Ed Gein used to be buried in between his mother and his brother, but people stole the headstone to sell, so the police, after getting the headstone back, removed it from the cemetery.
Here they are.
After we found the graves, we headed back to the car to grab some equipment. Off camera, I mentioned to Matthias that my head hurt, like my energy was being drained.
I'm not fond of graveyards.
You're still filming?
Yeah. I never stopped.
Or so I thought it was off camera. We then started our daytime portion of our investigation in Plainfield Cemetery.
Alright, so we are at the graves.
It says battery low.
Whoa, they're literally brand new. Just try and take some.
The brand new batteries I had just put in the digital camera were dead. Did the spirits drain them so they could use the energy?
Is there anyone here with us?
Right away, the Ghost Radar app had the word roan appear. We didn't acknowledge it at the time, for we didn't know what the definition was. Roan is an adjective used to describe the coat of a horse. There will be many more country-themed words popping up throughout the investigation that we have never seen anywhere else, besides this country location.
Oh, there's something. Right by Matthias.
Lovely.
Lovely. Oh, Augusta. Maybe, I don't know. That would be interesting.
Gus, do you think I'm lovely? Nice. Dang. That's interesting. Dropped in temperature and spiked up a little bit, but not really that much.
We didn't receive much more evidence during the daytime, but we decided that even that little bit was enough for us to return when the sun went down. But what to do to pass the time? Go to Ed Gein's farmland. Naturally.
So that cemetery seemed to be kind of a bust as well.
Yep.
It did seem like it drained our energy a lot, like you guys too, right?
Me too.
So there's that. We don't think that the Geins are still there, but I'm sure once night falls, it should be a lot more spooky.
Right over here.
Right now?
Yep. See the gate?
As you can probably tell, even from that short clip, the farmhouse isn't there anymore. The land is private property, so we couldn't go on it, but we could go on the outside of it. But where did the Ed Gein demon house go? After Ed was arrested, the state was going to auction off the land. There were rumors of people wanting to use it as a tourist attraction, which is what a carnival purchased Ed Gein's truck for, but the house mysteriously burned to the ground before it could be sold. Ed's response to this was,
Just as well.
I'm sure that's what everyone else thought too.
Oh boy, you got something already. Mighty?
So we have this for EVPs. What do you have to say for yourself, Ed?
We asked a few more questions, and upon playback we received no EVPs, and the only other word that appeared on the ghost radar,
Africa.
made no sense. We then pulled out our most powerful spiritual communication device, the spirit box.
Is Ed Gein here with us?
How it works is the spirit box rapidly scans through radio frequencies, creating white noise that spirits can talk through. As I was doing research for this video, I found a spirit box session in the Plainfield Cemetery, but noticed the large antenna. That is the incorrect way to conduct a spirit box session, as the antenna is more apt to pick up a radio station that could be confused for a word. I removed my antenna, so the only things that come through are completely unexplained. Those two voices came through before we were fully set up, so we didn't hear them in person, but they were, at least one of them, very intelligent. I asked Matthias if we should go further onto the private property, and a spirit answered with a solid. That answer scanned over multiple frequencies. Astounding evidence. The other voice came when we stopped moving outside the gate. The voice ordered us to go further onto the property. But the next evidence is spot on amazing. Listen to Matthias scoff because he didn't hear the other two voices and didn't think a spirit was present. Then listen to the spirit ask him clear as day, what is it? Like, what's the scoffing about?
It's on 1. It's on 1.2. You getting it? Can you speak to us?
Just then, our electromagnetic frequency, or EMF detector, began climbing, indicating there was actual energy present. This further consolidates all of the evidence we gathered on the spirit box.
Are any of his victims here? All over? No, it's on all over?
What's strange is the second we started moving, the voices stopped.
Whose property was this?
Because we didn't hear most of the previous voices, I was fed up. I didn't think we got much evidence at the time, so I gave Ed one last chance.
Alright, Gein. You live on farmland that has electricity running through it all the time. You should be powered up enough to speak to us, so come and do it. Make yourself known in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
No response.
So, I guess that goes to show you that this place isn't haunted either.
On the contrary, actually, we received many intelligent voices and picked up energy on our EMF detector to validate it.
It's on 1.
A lot of paranormal evidence we receive we don't know about until we go back and look on the cameras. To even further validate that Ed's property has some sort of paranormal energy to it, I noticed it myself.
It has the same eerie peacefulness as the cemetery, though. This place has like a super eerie peacefulness to it.
If you listen to the spirit box voices carefully, they all sounded male, even though Ed was more interested in female victims. Were those voices Ed Gein himself? Who knows? Then we headed back to Plainfield Cemetery to conduct part 2 of our investigation at night.
We're back at the cemetery. I just took a picture and got an orb right over there, so I feel like we're going to have
Some action.
Yeah. So let's get the stuff. Let's get going. So we are consistently getting more and more orbs.
Remember, just because you capture an orb in your photo doesn't mean it's a ghost. Dust and moisture show up nearly identical, but sometimes the placement is enough to tell you.
So I turn this on. Pretty soon we'll use the spirit box and everything. Let's just walk around and see if we can communicate with anything through visual and through this. Come and pass through this field right here so it can read your energy and show us that you're here.
Seconds later, Anne captures this photo of an orb, showing us it was there.
Right in front of the mom and dad's grave.
There's another one. Did you just hear something? It sounded like a voiceover. It was like,
That's the humming of a car, probably.
No, it was like an actual person talking.
We captured this noise on the camera's audio. To me, it sounds like a spirit humming the word yesterday. But what do you think it sounds like?
Feel spirit box is appropriate.
Yeah. Let's switch over to night vision because it's getting kind of dark. All right, we're gonna do a spirit box session where Ed Gein's old grave was. Are you here with us today? Were those orbs dust or were they you?
Are there any spirits of his victims present?
How many bodies did he dig up?
We didn't receive any voices, further validating the voices we got at Ed Gein's property. Feeling there might be more activity in different areas of the cemetery, we got up to walk around.
Should we go to the area where you're seeing that? Are there only victims here? Or is there something darker? Or is there something? Is Ed Gein here? Can you tell us your name? What's the most haunted part of the cemetery? Where should we go? I feel like we're getting voices, but we just can't hear them. Because I can feel it vibrating, like whenever they talk, but I can't hear what they say. Did you hear that?
This next voice is some of our best evidence yet, as we set out to talk to Ed's victims. Wouldn't you be vengeful if someone dug up your body? This next picture is one of our best photographic evidence yet. It looks like the orb is having a conversation with me. Creepy, but cool.
Do you want to try walking around with this? Because I feel like sometimes they respond better to you. Lovely.
Lovely.
Oh, thank you.
Augusta.
The audio recorder's going so you can walk as far away as you want. I feel like, you know what's strange? Is when it seems like when we're in more enclosed areas, I get more of the stuff, but when it's like outside like this, Matthias seems to. Sometimes you do too, don't worry.
Sometimes.
Why can't you talk to Matthew? Oh my gosh.
Like Ed Gein.
Oh boy. Well, we are out in Hickville, like I said a billion times. Makes sense.
Can you give me a name?
This is weird. Why are they so talkative to me?
As in Mary Hogan, one of Ed's murder victims? We then regroup to stop the spirit box session and say bye to the spirits.
Thank you for speaking with us.
Absolutely, I swear I just said absolutely.
I heard that too. Goodbye.
This has been weird.
I just saw like a shadow.
I did
figure.
too. Those flags, let me tell you,
It wasn't a flag, it was completely black. There's no flags over there.
Alright, I'm out.
Like literally it was like...
So just how haunted were the places we visited on our twisted road trip? Actually, more than we initially thought. Stop number 1, the hardware store, wasn't at all, as we unfortunately went to the wrong location. Stop number 2, Plainfield Cemetery, at first appeared not very haunted during the day, but at night got a lot creepier. We gathered compelling evidence on our spirit box with names like Ed Gein and Mary, along with intelligent responses.
Thank you for speaking with us.
We also got plenty of mysterious orbs and a disembodied voice. Stop number 3, Ed Gein's land, had a very strong and intelligent male presence, quite possibly Ed Gein himself. Our evidence gathered there included plenty of intelligent spirit box statements and responses, as well as EMF spikes where the voices came through. Creepy, but cool. People come from all over to see the place that housed one of the most notorious criminals in all of Wisconsin history. Ed Gein's axe over 50 years ago tainted the soil of the small town of Plainfield forever, and the spirits remain there to prove it.